What's up, guys? Got a special knife review here for you. This is one of sentimental value, if you will. Yeah, this is a Jake Hoback custom A10. This one's featuring bronzed, I believe, electric anodized bronze. I could be wrong. I'm not sure if it's heat treated because when you do turn it in various angles, it has slight little purples in it. But bronze titanium with carbon fiber inlays. You can see how the carbon fiber sits in that frame right there. You know, and it got a titanium, bronze titanium backspacer as well with the lanyard hole there, if you will. This knife, I said in the beginning, has sentimental value to me because a long time ago, if you guys have been following my channel for all this time, actually I don't know how long I've been running this channel. I think almost 2 years now, about a year and a half. And I got one of the first custom knives that I ever got was a Jake Hoback Alpha Hunter A10, and I love that knife. It was custom anodized by the previous maker, but if you guys remember or know, you know, the previous A10 generation, Jake, the first bearings that he used were these roller bearings in there. The very large bearings, and it didn't flip quite that well. You know, this one just fires out like no other. But that one you had to do extreme wrist flick. Anytime you pushed it out, it would come out to be maybe about right there. You know, on any normal flip, no matter if it was a button push or if it was rocking back. And so this one, you know, if you rock back or if you push down, it just fires out like mad. So anyway, that one, I contacted Jake and I was like, you know, is there anything you can do in terms of, you know, fixing this one up? And so he was like, yeah, just send it in. And I dragged my feet, you know, sending it in because I didn't, you know, this is when I was new, you know, with knife collecting, and so I was, you know, didn't want to get lost in the mail for the chance of losing it. And then I just didn't want to depart with it, you know, for too long. But anyway, eventually I was like, okay, I'm just gonna send it in, you know, let him fix it up so I can have a good working flipper. You know, it's still a beautiful knife, and I still love using it. But so anyway, I sent it to Jake, and he contacted me back pretty soon after, and was like, you know, this knife is kind of messed up, you know, and I don't want my name to be on a knife that's messed up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build you a new knife. And you know, he was you know, saying, you know, I was praying about it, and I just felt like I should build you a new knife. And so I was like taken aback. I was like, are you kidding me? You want to build me a new knife, you know, from scratch? And so that is just an amazing thing, an offer that he did for me. And so while I was at it, I was like, well, can I put an order for an A15 as well? And so he's like, absolutely. So I put, you know, an order for this one, matching set here. And I'll get to the review on this later on. So anyway, I can't remember how long it was, almost, not quite a year, but you know, he kept me posted, and you know, this just speaks of, you know, Jake's customer service, and he didn't forget about me. And you know, as he was building his different runs of A15s, A10s, A8s, you know, the Quabacks, all these different awesome knives that he makes, finally he got to the run of the A10s, and it was perfect. You know, God's provision in terms of, you know, he was running with 3V steel, which I was absolutely like crazy about. And he was just like, you know, what do you want on your knife? You know, what kind of design do you want on your knife? And I saw the old Alpha Hunter A15 series with the carbon fiber scales and the titanium bolsters, and so I was like, that's the look I want. And so he went with that, and he built this one for me. And then I asked him to include my favorite Bible verse As you guys know, I'm a youth pastor. Galatians 2:20, I've been crucified with Christ, so it's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And so, that's kind of just my motto, to try to, my best to live as Jesus would. Not that he would necessarily collected knives, but hey, the word of God is sharper than any double-edged sword. That's Alpha Hunter's favorite verse, I think. So anyway, this knife is just absolutely amazing. This is from his latest run of A10s, and so it's got the HRD, the Hoback roller detent in there, which is, such a simple yet ingenious design. I think it would be great for other makers to implement this in their system because it's a user adjustable detent. So if you screw this down, the detent ball will go down further on the detent, and it'll allow for the blade to, be more secure when it's closed, and it'll allow for it to pop out even better, when flipping. Along with that, the bearing actually rolls, and so it rolls along, the blade, and so it just allows for extremely smooth operation. Inside here you see this hole on both sides right here. That's where the internal stop pin lies, and so no more stop pins that Jake used to use on his older knives. On here as well is a 0.2 blade stock, 0.2 inch 200 thou blade stock of, like I said, CPM 3V blade steel, which is awesome. You got Jake's icon right there, the Hoback axe, and then you got the Hoback axe on the pocket clip as well. This is also on his new run of knives, this new pocket clip, which is awesome. I think it's just very well done. It's great. The retention is crazy on here. It's even tighter on the A15. So, but very simple design. It does allow, for left-hand carry. So, not that I would ever sell this one, but if there was ever a lefty that needed to use it, it is adjustable on there. So, for the new generation of Hoback knives, he's switching the screws on here, so he's no longer using these chain ring bolts on here, which I'm glad. So that's one thing I don't like. I really don't like the chain ring bolts, but that's such a small little thing, such a small issue. And then the new ones in this line have these gigantic shark fin flippers. And for me, at first, I really didn't like it. I think I would still prefer a smaller flipper. I may contact Jake if it's possible to shrink it down, but since then it has grown on me. It does allow for a very deep finger guard, finger choil, if you will. I guess it's not really a choil, but a guard. So any kind of stabbing motion, it's gonna really secure your hand in there. But sometimes it kind of gets in the way of the knuckle. But grind is very simple. This is a flat grind, and then you get the extremely thick all the way to the tip on here. The titanium on here, I think, is 2 1/4 thou thick titanium. Either that or maybe 0.25. I'm not sure, but it's crazy. It's ridiculously thick. So this is an absolute, I know it sounds cliche, but absolute beast of a knife. The length of the blade is actually pretty short. I think it's 3 1/4 inch blade, if I'm not mistaken. But as you compare it to these other knives, this is a XM18 3 1/2 inch right here. So you can get a sense, of the size of the blade. And then the dire wear, I believe, is also a 3 1/4 inch blade. So you can see how it compares to these other knives. But these, outside of the Sebenza, would be the ones that you absolutely consider tank knife. I mean, Daiware is, of all of them, is probably one of the craziest ones. And but I think the Hoback would definitely give it a run for its money. When you compare these with the Hinders, this is crazy. This is more beastly than a Hinder, than an XM24 as well. So yeah, if you compare the scales here, like how thick the Hoback is in comparison to a Hinder, it's just not even fair. And then when you compare the blade stock, it's a little bit deceptive because the Hinder does have this swedge on here that runs all the way down, so it is a bit thicker here, you know, on the blade flats. So again, 0.187 on the Hinder, and then 200 thou on the Hoback. So, all right, and then, you know, in terms of ergonomics, it is really good. Like I said, the flipper, it maybe protrudes a little bit more than I would want, but the curvature of this knife, it really gives you a nice angle when cutting, and this Tanto edge is pretty steep, so you can really do drag cuts very easily. You know, similar to the Hinder, where it does give you that angle, you know, when you're cutting, when you're holding, versus say a Sebenza. You know, you really have to move your wrist down. I think Blood Them Flowers, BTF, you know, talks about that, and with his nocturnal knives, that's one of his things, a negative angle that he definitely is pushing for in his knife. So you see, you know, when you put this down, how the Hinder and how the Hoback even goes further down, you know, the way that the dire wear rounds down, at least for the tip, you know, as you're dragging. This obviously has a recurve. All right, so anyway, that is my review of the Hoback A10. Such an awesome knife, such an awesome knife maker. I consider Jake a friend. I consider him a brother in Christ, and so you know, if I'm able, as long as I'm able to support him, you know, in his craft, an amazing job at his craft, then I'm going to do that. Oh, also inside, I forgot to show you guys, there's Jake's signing of the back spacer, and so that one, it's got his, you know, he always includes a verse that is important for him. That one's 2 Timothy 4:7. I don't know that one offhand, but yeah, all right. So that's the Hoback A10. Thanks guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. You guys take care, and I'll see you on the next vid. Bye.